Hi guys, and welcome back to Reads Readers with your host, Clinton Reed. Pardon for how I look. This is gonna be a dress down wrap up for April. Don't know why I'm acting like that, but so I've got my paper here because I don't have physical copies for everything. But everything that I don't have physical copies for go with books that are mainly in the 5 stars. Except for one that's in the 4-star, which, hold on. We can use this as a placer. We can use this one as a placer. So, got one as a placer, just so I don't forget where it is in the order of things. Okay. I apologize. I have no idea where that came from. I'm exhausted. I'm overworked. I'm brain. So I'm filming some videos for you guys. Hope y'all understand you're Do the Chaotic channel here. But let's just get into my April reading stats. For April, I finished 21 books. Not as much as was in March, which was 25, but 21 is still really, really good when it comes to the rabbit hole week where all I did was listen to podcasts for an entire week. And then read hardstopper graphic novels. I think that was a good week. Out of these, I have 1 3-star, 5 4-stars, and 15 were 5 stars. You will see I did finish, or I got caught up on one series, finished a series, reread a series. No. Yeah. I did 7 rereads, which I'll be talking about 6 here, 1 later on. 15 of the books had queer representation, whether that was the main character. I did allow one of the series, like, it's very prevalent in a side character, heavily, that becomes a main side character. Like, it makes sense. 12 of the books had romance plot lines. I read 6,651 pages. Woot! But yeah, those are my stats. So let's go over my let's get into these books. Okay. That's what y'all are here for. Right. So I got this paper here to remember the ones that I don't have physical copies of. Okay. Let's just get into my rereads. They're really not in it. My rereads here are in no particular order because they were all 5 stars. Like, some of these are my favorites of all time. But yeah. So this first one I reread and buddy read it with Tracy. So many T names. I don't know why I keep wanting to say Trent. Tracy. I reread this with Tracy so that we can continue on next month with the second book and then the next month with the third. That is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. Wonderful thriller. Love the reread. 5 out of 5 stars. I'm really not going to talk about these rereads that much. Oh, and actually, this next one is not a 5-star. I don't know why I didn't talk about it first. But yeah. Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Loved it. Just like the first one. And I actually forgot what happened in it. So I'm glad I reread it. I kind of think I know where the second book's about to go. And I'm hoping I'm right. This next one was the next in the Throne of Glass read-along that I'm part of. We read Assassin's Blade, which I had already reread once, like I had already read once before. 4 out of 5 stars. There's also a short story in here that shattered my heart. We are not well. But overall, this is a 4-star read. And very much enjoyed it and cannot wait to get into Queen of Shadows in May. Oh. And then, of course, like everybody else in the book world, I reread volumes 1 through 4 of Heartstopper to prepare me for the TV show. I am not well. My life has been destroyed, upside and down. The best thing I watched this month was Heartstopper. Heartstopper is the greatest show on earth. If we do not get a season 2, I will riot and shoot and burn down Netflix. Thank you. And I'm pretty sure everyone in the book world, book community, queer community agrees. Netflix, give us a fucking season 2 or else. You don't want to lose the queers. Thank you. Also, everybody knows what Heartstopper is about, so I'm not gonna dive into that. So let's just get into the new books. Well, and one reread, but that'll make sense later on. So my lowest book of the month, which I'm very disappointed in, but I'm not disappointed in the author. I know this is some people's favorites books, which I completely understand, and I see it valid. Just one major thing in the book made it where I couldn't give it higher than a 3-star. And that is I'm So Not Over You by Kosoko Jackson. This would make a really good movie, mind you. I really enjoy Kosoko Jackson's writing style. I am excited to give more of his works a try. Another positive for this is I really enjoyed the fact that they were both Black main characters. My only issue, this is about Kian. Kian, whose boyfriend Hudson breaks up with him, and then Hudson calls him up and is like, hey, can you pretend to be my boyfriend while my parents are in town? Then he gets invited to a wedding, and he has to pretend to be the boyfriend there. The only thing I have an issue with, second chance romance, fake dating, we know how this is going to go, is they never, ever, ever, ever talk about why they broke up in the first place. I was just like, I love you. Oh my God, we're going to be together forever. But you never talk about your issues. No, you're just going to snap at each other, break up again, and then get back together. So that's kind of the issue I had. But yeah. Other than that, really good book. I highly recommend it to people. I had an issue with it. I know a lot of people who did not have an issue with the thing that I had an issue with. So if you think this is still something you're interested in, I highly do recommend it. And I will be picking up his next romance book, A Dash Spice and Salt, or Salt and Spice, or something like that. And I do have Yesterday's History over there to give a try to see if I like his YA more, or if I like his adults. I feel like Kosoko Jackson has that potential of being an auto-by-author. Just don't know if he's a high auto-by-author yet, or a low auto-by-author. Does that make sense? It's one of those that I'm like, intrigued. Now to the 4 stars. Now to the placeholder is Learn My Lesson. But I actually listened to, what's the name of it? Worthy Opponent by Katie Roberts this month, which was Tinkerbell and Captain Hook. Really enjoyed it, loved it, gave it 4 stars. It just didn't have any wow, bam, thank you, ma'am kind of impact to me, like Learn My Lesson did, or the other Katie Roberts that I will talk about later on in this thing, but really enjoyed it. Highly recommend the Wicked Villain series, especially Learn the Lesson. I'm hoping to read The Beast soon, because that's the next one. But, yeah. Now for the weirdest book I think I have ever read. Next is We Ride Upon Sticks by Quan Berry, which I received this copy from one of my favorite teachers from high school, Mrs. Swisher. Thank you, Miss Swisher. She tabbed the hell out of it. This book, I did give it 4 stars, but it has potential. I plan on rereading it in the future, knowing what I know now with the ending. This follows the 1989 Danvers High School Falcons, who are a all-female field hockey team. Well, it's not all-female because there's a gay guy on their team. But hockey team who cast spells to make them better. It's really hard to explain. And I know this is one of Kayla from Books and Lala's all-time favorite books, which I can totally see that. It is very heavily with the 80s references that I just don't know what the fuck I read. Because at one point I think one girl's hair was sentient and the other girl had like this blob thingy on her neck, like this splotch. I think that was sentient, or was it? I do highly recommend this book because I feel like everybody needs to experience it. And it's one that I do plan on rereading in the future, and I think every time you reread this, I feel like it's going to be one of those books that I'm going to learn something different. So I'm very happy I read this. Plus, this cover is stunning. I just love the colors. Very 80s. But if you have not read it, I highly recommend it. Now into the 5 stars. As you can tell, I'm not going to go into synopsises too highly on a lot of these, but next is I read an entire series. I read it early. We were only supposed to read book 1 this month. But I read the entire Magnus Chase trilogy. I don't own book 2. I listened to the audiobooks to these, which is Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard by Rick Riordan. Book 1, Sword of Summer. Book 2, Hammer of Thor. Book 3, Ship of the Dead. And then the other 2 4 stars that I also gave were part of this, which is 9 from the Nine Worlds, which is like a short story collection that takes place after all of this. And I also read from Magnus Chase, Hotel Valhalla, the guidebook, which I also gave 4 stars. This series is Rick Riordan's Norse mythology, which follows Magnus Chase, the cousin of Annabeth Chase in the Percy Jackson world, who is the son of the Frey. Oh God. Son of Frey, the god of summer and health, as he tries to stop Armageddon, Ragnarok, which you get to meet all the Norse gods. If you're a fan of the the movies Thor, Marvel's Thor, these are freaking amazing, but I will tell you, don't go into them with expectations thinking those characters. Heimdall is so different. It's Alex, right? Yes. My favorite character is one of Loki's children, Alex, who is non-binary, who wakes up just decides what gender they are, whether they be male or female. And every time you see them, you know what gender they are. Not that they change their bodies or anything, it's just the energy they give off. Magnus always knows what pronoun to use when Alex is a he and when Alex is a she. Oh, the representation in this, the Valkyrie who saves Magnus. Oh, hold on. Names are escaping me. Samira, who is a daughter of Loki, who is also a Muslim, who takes Ramadan during this. So, it's kind of exciting. But I'm not going to say more than that. Just Norse mythology and the representation is everything. Also, the mute representation. Not mute, deaf. It is deaf. Deaf representation in this is perfection. So, I highly recommend this series, and this is actually now my all-time favorite Rick Riordan series to date. I will be getting book 2 and the other 2 things to go along with this. Just didn't have the money at the time. Now, the next series that I tackled, I only own book 1, but that is the Neon Gods series, where I did read Neon Gods, which I gave 5 out of 5 stars. I did read the short story Hades, which talks about the Hades and Neon Gods and the Hades and Learn My Lesson, which I gave that 5 stars. That was only 45 pages. I also read book 2, Electric Idol, which follows Eros. Oh my god. Psyche and Eros. Wow. Neon Gods follows Hades and Persephone. All I'm going to say is badass, fucking amazing, every little bit of it. And I cannot wait to read the next one and read more in this world. All I'm going to say is Hades, Persephone. Zeus is an asshole. Enough said. Making sure that's all the ones. Yes. Now we are down to my final 5 stars. I've now talked about all the things that I don't currently own and everything, so we're good there. I started the month off finishing the Foxhole Court series with The Kingsmen by Nora Suffolk. This is now one of my all-time favorite queer series. It follows Neil Johnston, who is on the run from his father in hiding, and he joins an XC team, goes to college, XC team, and the story goes from there. But I will also tell you, Mafia. Look into trigger warnings. I'm still traumatic on some of this. So, do that. I talked enough about the Foxhole Court in my last wrap up for March. Yeah, for March, where I read book 1 and book 2, and then I finished this one the very first day of April. I'm sorry. I'm so chaotic here. But all I'm gonna say is the romance on this is hate to hate to hate to hate to hate. I'm gonna beat the fuck out of you and then make out with you kind of love. And I needed it. I am Nil Drew for life. No, it's Andrell. Sorry. Andrell for life. Boy. Hope Girl, you know what I mean. Now let's get into this top 3. I don't know why I did that. I'm sorry. I think I'm losing my mind. In 3rd place is And There Were None by Agatha Christie. This is the first Agatha Christie that I've actually completed and loved. I read the first one to the Miss Marple series, but I feel like I expected something different than what I got, so I plan on rereading that, because I will be reading more Agatha Christie in the future. I'm just thinking about starting with some standalones, and then maybe tackling the Hercule Poirot or the Miss Marple series next. All I know is this is now one of my favorite books of all time. Or it's up there. And I don't think it makes the top 10 list. I think it's like slot number 11. But this is freaking amazing. All I know going into this, which I think anyone should know going into this, is that it's a group of 10 strangers meet at this island, and then they start dying off. And you start to figure out the reasons why and who's behind it. Shit is ridiculous. Just saying. I'm sorry if I'm not giving these synopsises enough. Existential crisis. God, I am turning into Gavin. The fuck. Okay, these next 2 kind of are tied for 1st place. The other one, a little bit more than this one, because I tried a little bit harder with that one, but the other, I think, will understand. In 2nd place for this month is The Second Chance of Benjamin Waterfalls by James Bird. This is also set in his The Braves world, which this follows Benjamin Waterfalls, who gets in trouble for shoplifting and is sent to go live on the reservation with his father, who he has not seen since he was 7 and he's 12, something like that. But he is sent to the Ojibwe reservation to boot camp, and this book is all about coming to terms with who you are as a person and being that and bringing that inner superhero out on how to be a good person. Kind of like Brave's message is how to be brave. And he meets a girl in this one, which I always mispronounce. Let me see if I can't find her name. I love all the characters, but Namia, what to say? She's the girl that wears the little mask. I think she is one of my all-time favorite characters of all time. Yeah. And there's a scene in here where he is yelling at his father, and it was like James took the words out of my mouth and put them in a book. He's like, Dad, fuck you. Kind of thing. Oh, pardon, I'm trying to cuss less. My bad, guys. At least on camera. But all the other characters and stuff that's in this are just so powerful. If you would like to know my full thoughts on this, go to my Goodreads. I have an entire, I have a review down. It's not the best or the most intricate, but it does give you a little bit more of an insight on why I love this as much as I did. James is also an amazing writer. If you have not read any of his works, go read it now. Now for my favorite book of the month. Next to Second Chance of Benjamin Waterfalls is Like a Love Story by Abdi Nazamin. I can't pronounce names. This is about a queer... This takes place in 1989 New York with Reza, an Iranian boy who just moved to the city in with his new stepfather and stuff. His mother got him and his sister out of Tehran, I think. Yeah, because there's a big joke about it. Got him out of the area to where they can live a happy life in Toronto, and then she met her now husband and moved to New York City to be with him. And how he meets, and then Reza meets Judy and Art. And this is all about coming to terms with being homosexual during the AIDS epidemic and what that truly means. You have characters in here that are dying of AIDS. AIDS is heavily prevalent in this. This is one of the most powerful queer novels I think I have ever read. The references in this are everything. Sorry, those yawn at me. OCD solemn. References in here are everything, and Abdi has now become an auto-author for me. I was so heavily crying at my desk to the point where the top of my shirt was soaked, and my boss looked her head over the little cubicle at me and was like, "Are you okay, Clint?" I'm good. Also, the Madonna references in this, if you are a fan of Madonna, you will love that. I love Madonna, but I'm not one of those like, "Oh my god, Madonna!" Madonna just wasn't my like, "Oh my god, everything," like Bette Midler was. But I will state, 3 hours after reading this, I was listening to non-stop Madonna music. So, such a powerful book, and I highly if y'all read anything off this list, I am going to recommend specifically these two. Like, all my 5 stars, yes, but these two are both powerful books that deal with grief, that deal with forgiveness, for acceptance. We need more books like this in our lives. So, just want to put that out there. That's all the books that I read in April. So, comment down below and let me know, did you read any of these? Are you interested in reading any of these now that I've talked about it? I apologize, I really suck when it comes to descriptions. But yeah, that's all I've got for you guys today. If you're new, hit that subscribe button, and you might as well hit that thumbs up while you're at it. And remember, kids, always be fabulously yourself. Oh boy!